So in the absence of documentation, which is still being developed, I thought I'd just give you a brief overview, much the same as in our meeting, so you can get started with the design tool. So when you log in, you'll be on the product page, and you can press here. This is all the details about the product, and you can open it in the design tool, or you can just open it straight from here. And you can see the t-shirt we were playing with the other day. One of the features I was explaining was the seam splicer, which allows you to put graphics over seams. Create a seam like that. I'll just do it again. Seam splice, start, end, start, end. And it tells you actually in the corner what you're supposed to be doing, and that gives you the ability to take a graphic, drag it over a seam. Once the center point hits the seam point or the seam line, then it creates the linked graphic. So everything you do with this graphic will then be duplicated on the other side to give you that seamless print. And so I did save what I've called seams template, which is the product that's already got those seams all made, so you can just start playing straight away. I think the other example I was giving was putting a logo across chest and arms. And there you can see, and then we have sizing, so you can test it on all sizes as well. Then we can select an element. Let's just delete that one. It'll delete all the copies as well. And then we have pattern pieces. So if you want to change the color of a certain piece, you can use the color picker. And once you've established a color, you can then pick other pieces that you want that color. Use the dropper to do that. But what I'm going to do is go back to here, and on the product we can define a palette. At the moment there's 3 palettes. There will come more, they're sort of factory dependent. It depends on the printing process, what machine they've got. So let's take, this is almost a full Pantone palette, but there are some colours that you might find missing, but we will add those. So now we can change everything that's following color 1. We can change it all at the same time. So then if we take a piece, pattern piece, and say that should be color 2. Let's do the same with this one, color 2. You can see when we change color 2, everything in that group is changed. So then we have the graphics. We've already been in a couple of times, but you can see these blue dots. They're the registration points. That's the point which it's going to follow when you're changing size. So if you register it to that point there, then when you go to extra large, the distance from this point to here is the same on all sizes. and that might not be what you want. So it often is, but let's say if we say, well, no, we want it to be the same distance to the bottom, then you can up here change the registration point. Let's anchor it to the bottom middle, and now you can see that it's staying there. Or we could change it again. So move it across, and then now it will be staying anchored to that point. And then the next point I was showing was sometimes you need to think about the design separately on each size, or slightly differently. So there's this per size editing. If we tick that, you can see I've actually incorporated, it shows you now the size of the graphic. These are not, they're not a way to change the size, but they are a way to show the size. Right, so now that's the medium. If I go to a large, if I want it to make it larger, then you get the idea. So now you can edit it differently on every size. So another way of doing scaling is set your graphic, and then over here you can say scale from the top. Well, you can see that these are the registration positions where to scale from. Let's take the center, preserve the aspect ratio, and then it's controlled by either the width or the height. So now when I go through the sizes, you can see it's getting bigger and smaller. The 3D navigation is just on the left mouse, the right mouse to pan, and the left to navigate. If I have that selected, if I have that graphic selected, then this doesn't move, because your mouse can also, just close that, your mouse can also edit the graphic on the 3D model. A bit more tricky, but you can do it. Probably easier on the 2D view most of the time, but sometimes if you want to, like, you know, hit an exact point on the 3D model, you can do it like that. You can see it's also snapping to the center when you're close to the center of the garment. And then we have some experimental features. Well, I should actually start with text, because that's probably the next most useful thing. You input your text here, choose font, etc. And that again can, you know, go through seams. I'll just create a seam here just for demo purposes, and then you can see that is now wrapping around that seam. And then I think I'll just open up my template. This is the latest functionality that we've implemented, so having a bit of fun with that. So you can actually, you know, work with shoulders, and just really open up some possibilities. So every time you break a seam, it goes on that as well. Now you can see it's a a three-way split, and just scale that so it fills the whole shirt basically. Take another product. Let's take tote bag. That's going to show you another feature here where you can generate a description of your product if you haven't got one. And we do have another AI feature which is sort of in test. If we wanted to, let's just make it a white bag. If we haven't got the graphic that we need, we can either upload it, there's the upload button, or we can generate it. Now it generates in black and white, but you can color what it generates. So, and it's kind of set up for sport at the moment, but we can add to this. So let's say we want a cycling modern graphic, and we'll call our team the Butchers, and we can generate a graphic. And we can save that to, that'll be saved to the generations folder, and then we can carry on and say, well, now I want a simple, this is a, so it's either like a text logo or it's a graphic. So we'll have a modern Butchers cycling text. Okay. And also you can just regenerate if it's not, you know, if it doesn't hit the spot, or if it's spelt wrong. There you go, that's a better one. And that'll be saved to your generations. So now I can use those graphics. And I can also color the graphic, so it's actually got a black and a white border, so we can say the black will assign to color 4 and the white will assign to color 5, and then you have an instant graphic. And then we can just for fun put their logo on the other side and probably color it the same way. So that will be number 4, that will be number 5. And this shows you the flexibility of this this palette system, that we can just quickly iterate through different designs with different colors. Yeah, and that's the demo. Then if we want that saved, we just save, give it a name, Butcher's Bag, and then save it. And if we reload, open the design, and we're back to where we were. So I think that's a good start. If you want additional fonts, they can be uploaded here, and they'll appear in the design tool. The other thing you don't need to worry about, we will be publishing more color palettes. Yeah, and we can make the whole thing available in more languages if that's has any interest. There's a light mode for psychopaths. You can categorize your products to make it easier to find them. So if you just want like backpacks, table covers, etc. That's a brief introduction to get you started. Much more information to come, so have fun.